Welcome to the Kitaria Fables review. My name's Kanan, thank you for joining me, and as usual, why not hit that like and subscribe button just before we get started to keep yourself up to date with all my latest content. And so, with local multiplayer, magic, crafting and farming, has this kitten got tangled up in way too much string? Let's find out with the gameplay. Okay, so we have a little bit of a mixed bag here, with a story that's kind of average and kind of plods along as you go on. Adding to this, you have side quests as well, many side quests that kind of just feel like they're there just to add a bit more content. But let's get into those all-important key features, shall we? Fighting. It's a mix of magic and sword and ranged weapons, and a dodge to boot. And trust me, you'll be using this dodge mechanic quite a bit. As well as fighting these monsters, there are indicators on the ground alerting you to the enemy's attacks. And although this is done quite wellish, it kind of has a repetitive type style to it. As after you've mastered how to dodge out of the way of the creatures, it almost comes down to being a bit easy. And adding to this a lock-on system, well, you get where I'm going here, I hope. And then there's the farming. And in this game, it just feels like a secondary thing that's just been thrown in. Well, it does work as you'd expect. Hoe, seeds in the ground, water them, wait days, keep watering them, and then harvest them. But I think its main actual use is either to make things so that you can eat them and, restore health, or just to sell so that you can buy better gear and the like. The game itself is set out in multiple sections with new areas all over the map, keeping the game feeling like you are actually exploring places. But this is hurt in a way by each place being made up in, small sections and each having to load in, which hurts the pacing of the game as you move forward. I mean, there are teleporters, but you can't always use these to move from actual area to area. But the teleporters certainly help with this. As you actually explore the actual game itself, you'll find loads of different chests. Some you need keys, some you don't, but all have a useful thing inside them. There's even a day and night system, which you'd probably expect with something with a farming mechanic in them. And the effect of getting dark does actually feel quite neat. And yes, this also means you have to sleep, but this does help progress the game, and I suppose without it your crops probably wouldn't grow. As you gain more and more quests, each quest actually has directions of how to get to the places you need to get to complete them. I found this to be a really neat idea and did actually enjoy this bit. One of the things I did find strange about this game was there's no XP in it, which is weird. In fact, any sort of upgrades or better spells or anything you can't get by XP. You basically have to find things and create things in order to get them. Essentially gather, build, or gather and pay for it to be done. And this is all well and good, and I would be happy with this system if it wasn't for the fact that some items, armor and the like, can take hours to build up the necessary materials that you need to actually buy them. And this felt a bit weird, a bit strange, and a little bit unfair. And this even works for your magic as well. You have to go and gain certain things in order to take to a cauldron to eventually gain more elements or gain more different upgrade powers to that element. Don't get me wrong, this all works, but only to an okay standard. Nothing really shines here, and even the side quests that add content just feel, go here, fetch this, come back here. It gets grindy and repetitive after a while of doing the same thing over and over again. Graphically, I do like this, with some nice atmosphere and weather looks, and there's enough variety in the creatures to kind of like, you know, make you feel like everything's different when you go to things. Audio seems kind of full of what you'd expect it to be full of. The good looks nice. Fighting can be fun, plenty to do, everything seems to break up the gameplay. The bad, but everything is not done to a great quality. Can be grindy, upgrading new items can take a long time. It kind of does plenty, but never really masters any of its actual mechanics. The score. Purely based on my own experience within Kitaria Fables, I'm forced to give it a 3 out of 5, and I do really feel that with a few patches here and there and maybe a few different things added and taken away, this could actually be a higher score, but for now I'm afraid it's a 3 out of 5. And as for my alternative, well, I'm going to go back twice this week for the Master, Stardew Valley. It does this sort of thing so well. And so if you have any thoughts about Kitaria Fables, leave them down in the comments. And also, why not hit that like and subscribe button if you've made it this far and want to be kept up in all my future content. Also, why not come and visit us in our community Discord. We're all like-minded people, because life is better when we switch together.